All right. I might move on then to kind of, I guess, some strategies for late 2021 and for 2022. And I think that, look, the other thing, obviously, businesses have got to start looking at a mindset change from thinking about tomorrow to maybe planning 6 months now. And obviously, COVID disaster payments have all ended. So a lot of staff, while the COVID disaster payments were being paid, a lot of staff were happy to do reduced hours and things like that. So now that that money's gone, those people, we're already seeing this with clients, they're already saying, well, no, I'm not continuing on my reduced hours at this point. And the employer, frankly, has no right to really continue those arrangements if those arrangements were sort of mutual agreement on a temporary basis. The Job Saver program, as you all know, ends 30th of November. And there's obviously some challenges around that because you got to maintain your headcount and those sort of things. So we've got clients literally ready to pull the trigger on redundancies, December the 1st. But basically, most businesses will either fit into one of three categories in the next few months. It'll either be expansion, contraction, or consolidation. And we'll kind of go into some of the things that each business in those categories should think about in that time ahead. So I guess the first thing and really challenging thing to get your head around is that what we continue to see in the recruitment market is that it is very much a candidate's market. And, this notion that there's heaps of people out of work, looking for work, so on and so forth, is not materializing both in the numbers and both anecdotally what we're seeing with running campaigns for our clients. So obviously, the lack of skilled migration has been a killer for Australia in the last couple of years. I mean, the hospitality industry in particular is just really struggling at the moment to get good people on board because they used to get a whole lot of skilled migration coming in to fill that. What we're also seeing is we're seeing a bit of industry migration as well. So over the last 2 years, some jobs have been sort of found to be more sexy than others, if you like, because some jobs have just been the first to shut down as soon as there's economic disruption. And people are saying, well, do I really want to be in that industry going forward? And they've changed industries. But outside of the industry migration, there is probably a little bit of also flight to safety. There's a lot of people saying, well, no, now's not a good time to change jobs. So I'll stay put. But there's a lot of people out there, and look, I don't know if this is just a HR thought bubble or something that's actually going to happen, but there's a lot of people talking about the great resignation that's apparently going to happen in the coming months, where people are going to just up and leave and go to other jobs when we're kind of, back to a sense of freedom, so to speak. Whether that materializes or not is hard to say. I'm probably not as how do I put this? I don't probably believe it as much as others would say that this is going to happen, but we shall see. I think that what we are seeing, though, in terms of our own anecdotal experience with recruiting of recent times, is that low number of applications for a lot of roles. So what we find a lot of employers really struggle with is they've got this mindset of, I've got to compare one person with another. And what you really need to get your head around is that in one recruitment campaign, you might only get one good person. And that's good enough. If we get one good person, that's the objective of the campaign has been successful. So that's important to remember. And compare those people to people you've interviewed or looked at previously. Don't be obsessed with thinking about, I've got to have a comparison person, this time to look at this against this other person. So that's important. The other thing we say to our clients is that if you're running recruitment yourself, if you're getting us to do it for you, you must make contact within the first 24 hours. Gone are the days of, putting an ad up on Seek or whatever platform you want to use, and then just sitting in the hammock on a Sunday going through them like that. That in these days is just not anywhere near responsive enough. That might be fine at 8% unemployment. That's no good at 5% unemployment. There's a huge difference in those two things. So look at that. The other thing we're sort of also encouraging clients to look at is what we call kind of wildcard candidates. So Andrew, do you want to explain what you mean by wildcard again?
So basically candidates that, you've got to change your mindset because of the lower number of applications per role. We've had to have discussions with a lot of our recruitment clients to kind of say, okay, this candidate might not tick the boxes, might not have 100% of the experience that you're looking for, but do they have the right attributes to be able to grow there? and to try and, I guess, find a needle in a haystack to some degree with the low application numbers, clients have had to take on a little bit more risk to try and get someone on board to fill the role that may not tick absolutely every single box. And obviously there is a byproduct of that, hey, this person may not work out. We might have to go through this one or two times to try and to actually fill the role long term. But they have to be coached to be able to willingly accept this, because the alternative to that is, well, we'll just keep on advertising for the role. And meanwhile, there's a massive operational cost to not having the function performed at the same time. So you've got to weigh up the two against each other.
Yeah, no, thanks for that, Andrew. I appreciate you going through that. So, look, the other thing we are seeing is high wage expectations at the moment. Candidates are demanding high wages because of the low unemployment environment. Quick decision making is required. Again, don't get married to this idea of, 2 interviews and I'll take my time making a decision. This environment, it's a big shift. You really got to deal with making decisions where you may not be 100% comfortable. You've got to be able to make quick, agile decisions. If you don't, then you're just going to be left in the wake of others that are going to be going for the same people. So that's what we're seeing a lot of. And we have line managers of our clients who say, no, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to wait. And our recruitment specialist says, well, look, you can do that, but candidates are going to go. And then literally a couple of days later, our specialist will be saying this candidate's gone. We just see it all the time. So again, just that agile decision making is very important.